Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. This is going to be a quick follow-up video to the one I posted last night, which was our seventh installment of the Python cones. At the end of last night's video, we were basically working through this method, testing the while statement. And I wanted to actually just walk through it again quickly as an example of how one might debug something. If you recall, last night we were stepping through this and trying to kind of like mentally keep track of the values of result and of I as the while loop went through. And we ended up being basically double the result that we wanted to be. So I was thinking that it would be good to find a tool or to talk about some of the tools available to be able to more effectively debug something like this, because it's going to be a very important skill to develop. So, first thing to mention is that Sublime Text, which is the text editor that we are using for this series, is kind of lightweight. It's not a fully integrated development environment. There are other editors you can use that offer more features. For example, PyCharm, Visual Studio Code. And these allow you to get robust debugging feedback. You can put a breakpoint. Let's say, I enter a something like this. There's going to be some symbol or something that you place at a particular point in the code. And when the code runs and execution hits that point, everything stops and presents you with a prompt, or at least the ability to see the values associated with all your variables at that point in time. So that's effectively what we're going to do, but we're going to do it using not a fully integrated development environment, but we're going to do it using Sublime Text here. And in order to get that functionality, we're going to use a piece of code that I pulled from basically a Reddit thread. And what I asked for was, what is the equivalent or an equivalent of binding.pry for Python? Binding.pry is a library from the Ruby world that does effectively this, where you place something that looks like this as a breakpoint wherever you want in the code, and then the execution goes by and stops there and presents you with a prompt. This code here, import code, this line on line 37, import code, code.interact, and then looks like a default method variable called local with a default value, which is a dictionary, and then the result of whatever globals is as the keys and whatever locals is as the values. I don't really know a whole lot about what is going on here. I don't know what those, I guess APIs or what code those wrap or what those results are going to be. We're just going to trust that this is okay. And based on the feedback I saw on the thread, I think it's going to be fine. I don't think there's like a security risk to running this. Regardless, the behavior should be that when this code runs, we get all the way down to here, and then we'll stop. And we can then see what our answer is. So let's put our underscore back. And what we want to do, though, is notice that the breakpoint that we've got is placed inside the while loop. So as the while loop goes by, we'll get prompted, and we can see what the running results are of I and of result. And that way we'll know that when the condition is triggered where I is greater than 10, the value of result at that time will be our answer. And so I just want to step through and see that visually. All right, so let's go ahead and run it. The breakpoint has been placed, and I'm going to go ahead and run the code. All right, so you can see here we are in the breakpoint, and I'll just go ahead and type I. That should give me the value of I, and I'll type result, and that should give me the value of result. So we've gone through, I has been incremented, and at this point during the first loop through, result equals 1. Okay, so I'm going to press Control D, and that's going to cycle through the code again. So basically go through the next round of the loop and stop again back at the breakpoint. I'm going to go ahead and do I. So I is now 3. It's been incremented. And result is 2. Okay. Control D. I is 4. Result is 6. I is 5. Result is 24. I is 6. Result is 120. Okay. I is 7, result is 720. All right, incrementing I again. I is 8, result is 540 or 5040. Going around again, I is 9, result is 4320. All right, so we're getting close to the condition. So the next time we go through, I will be 9. So we do expect it to fully go through again, okay. I will be 9, so Control D. I is now 10, and the result is 36,880. And the code says, while I is less than or equal to 10, give the result. Okay, so I is currently less than or equal to 10. And so I think this is going to be our answer. Actually, no, I think not. I think so. Let's try. Let's just keep running through it and see. Control D. I is 11. Result is 3628800. And then we stopped. So yeah, I was correct. It's not, there's another 0 here. I was confused because they're very similar. Okay, so when we got to where I was 10, let's say at this point I had been incremented and it was 10. We come back up to the top, I equals 10, result equals whatever it is, while I is less than or equal to 10. And because I was less than or equal to 10, in fact it was 10, we went through again, we modified result again, we actually multiplied it by 10, and then we incremented I to then be 11. We went back through again, and at this point, we got to this condition where I was not less than or equal to 10, and therefore we break out of the while loop and go to the assertion where result is the value that it had, has the value it had the last time we went through. So I hope that was useful. Just a quick follow-up video to walk through how we might debug something. And you can see we'll use this probably a lot, in fact, because as you can tell, we're getting into more and more, kind of logically complex methods. And it'll be important as we're going through loops and, recursion, just different things to be able to look into the code at runtime and see what the value of some variables are to make decisions or to make statements about, what's going to happen at the end of runtime. All right. Happy Monday, everybody. I hope everyone has a good week. I should be back later in the week with some more networking stuff. Hope you all have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.